Hello and welcome to Media Pool. My name is Olivia Seed, and in this video essay we'll be discussing and evaluating the theories to which guided me in the viral media production of my group projects. Drawing upon comparisons between my briefs, my groups and my Semester 1 portfolio videos, I hope to reach a conclusion as to how my group work and knowledge of virality has aided the success of my two group videos. To support this, I will touch upon the steps taken within this semester, including understanding active learning, approaching the client briefs, leadership, teamwork, viral theories, practical skills, and viral social media promotion. Active learning. Looking at the module as a whole, it is clear to see how the active learning styles employed have encouraged my own learning and development of skills. Bloom's taxonomy was originally set out in 1956 and later revised in 2001 to include creativity, the process of generating, planning, and producing. Noted as evidence of higher order thinking, the process requires more cognitive learning processes, including analysis, evaluation, and synthesis. By creating portfolio videos in Semester 1 and materialising client briefs in Semester 2, this module has endeavoured to encourage our higher order thinking skills and judgmental and critical analysis. As such, my ability to organise, plan, materialise and evaluate my own work from a critical standpoint has successfully increased my creativity and personal development, further preparing me for the real working world. It is believed that students learn more when they are more actively involved with their learning, as opposed to when they are just passive recipients of instruction. By engaging the mind and not just the memory, Adler 1982 argues that my learning will have surpassed the passive stages and will have become a form of genuine active learning, stimulating both convergent and divergent thinking. I believe this to be true, as it has developed my understanding of the topics through first-hand creative and memorable experiences of working with clients. Furthermore, active learning is dependent upon student involvement. According to Astin 1985, involvement and thus successful active learning is demonstrated through a student's physical and psychological energy dedicated to the academic experience. This can be demonstrated through my weekly record vlogs tracking our Jossey-Bass group project progression. So today is our fourth group meeting, and we're going to be going to Scotland Road to go meet Joel to get some extra information about the client brief and also run through some of our ideas with him before we hand over our actual pitches. The rest of this essay will therefore evaluate my physical and psychological energy devoted to this module that led to the creation of my two group client videos. Approaching the client brief. Who are our clients and what did they want? Collier is a digitalised local currency that supports independent businesses. In essence, Collier wanted an advertisement piece focusing on the local benefits of using the app, its efficiency, passion for how we use money, and to grow knowledge and awareness of the brand. Jossey-Bass, on the other hand, wanted a detailed research video to encourage new readers and volunteers for what is known as a lost generation within the Vauxhall area of Liverpool. As the longest standing community newspaper in the UK, it was hoped that the historical telling and reminding of the community would encourage a new audience to check out their online digital presence. The bright and modern tone implied by Collier contrasted with the visual interpretation pitched by Jossey-Bass. The two, therefore, were very culturally different and needed approaching in different ways. As recommended during our lectures, it was suggested that brainstorming was a great way to begin the creative process in a less professional and more experimental way. Brainstorming. In a previous module taken at university, I had used brainstorming academic literature to understand the best process for quality idea generation. One beneficial paper was from Garocho et al. This literature stated that the hybrid working structure worked best, whereby the teams first work independently and then come together to collaborate and discuss ideas. As a result, the groups generate a higher quality and higher quantity of ideas and can better distinguish between the achievable and non-achievable. In light of this, and with success in my previous adoption of the hybrid approach in other modules, it was given as a suggestion to my two groups ahead of our first meetings. However, the process didn't suffice with both of my groups. For one group, our meeting was powerful and explosive with ideas. Ideas were crafted and contributed, and everyone had different opinions and additions. Yet for the other, the result wasn't as vibrant. Runco, 2014, suggests that brainstorming can actually prohibit divergent thinking, as there is a tendency to experience social loafing. He states that this is a possible outcome when responsibility is shared and it becomes easier for group members to put in less effort into an assignment. Furthermore, it is noted within Furnham's 2000 article, The Brainstorming Myth, that brainstorming can be ineffective. Even though the initial freedom for thought and expression was what drew both the groups to adopting a brainstorming approach, it seems that upon reflection this could have been the very thing stopping our teams from generating more ideas. For example, because only one individual can speak at once during a group meeting in order to keep it polite and comfortable, other members of the groups may have withheld from giving their opinion or idea. They may have then forgotten or felt less passionate to say anything once the conversation reached a point suitable for their interjection. There has therefore been an apparent contradiction between adopting a brainstorming idea and the actual beneficial utility of it, as demonstrated by the contrast in outcomes. To try and overcome this and to efficiently store and have access to ideas at all times within both groups, we set up a Google Docs page. Teamwork. This module has provided a real simulation of the working world, including team working processes. And although the two groups delivered different experiences, both will be useful for future job prospects. Both of my teams were diverse, with members of different nationalities, backgrounds and gender. Jen et al. 1999 notes that this is a benefit for 3 reasons: the informational, social and value diversity that can be experienced. Most relevant to my group was the informational diversity. Informational diversity refers to the differences in knowledge bases and perspectives that members bring to the group through education, experiences and expertise. Within my Scotty Press group, we used this to our advantage. For example, within the forming stage of our group development as identified by Tuckman in 1965, we spent time talking over our strengths, what we would have changed about the production and promotion of our last videos, and how we could apply this to our group project. This establishment of team values and individual strengths eased our storming phase and transitioned us nicely into the norming phase. It is known that these two phases can overlap and become reversible when conflicts arise. However, from the outset, each person's strengths were appreciated and their downfalls were respected when brought to light. However, this didn't work as planned within our other group for Collier. As described by Jen 1997, the failure to acknowledge informational diversity can create conflict when the potential is not understood. Disagreements could be centred around the task conflict, and in our case, brief interpretations. However, Jen notes most particularly that they could be about how to do the task or how to delegate resources. For my Collier group, this was perhaps our downfall. As noted within the storming phase of group development, there can be conflict of natural working styles and opinions on how to complete the task. As a group, there were clear divides and separations amongst individuals who differed in opinion about contributions and how to approach the task. Although there were some attempts to resolve the issues and to move into the norming stage, it seemed the differences were too overwhelming. It could be suggested that an establishment of the group's values and social diversity within the forming stage could have prevented this divide, as members would be aware of groups' differences and could have used their group strengths to overcome this, just as my Scotty Press team did. Although the teamwork for Scotty Press, in accordance with Tuckman's 1965 definition, met performing standard, it wasn't without difficulties and challenges that we got there. To provide an example, our encountered difficulties after our storyboard plan was no longer achievable due to unresponsive interviewees. We reconvened and decided to look back at all of our strengths and our resources we had already developed. We changed our plan completely and delegated each task in a fair and advantageous way. It was at this point that leadership began to change and was even shared. Shared leadership is described as a process of mutual influence, as team members share directing the team's goals and functions. For example, within the Collier group, like noted by Tuckman 1965, it wasn't until my group was reconstructed that we reached the performing phase. Yet for the Scotty Press group, it wasn't until the roles became flexible and functional that group energy was rekindled and high performance began. Throughout both groups, leadership skills were acquired and developed. Nordhaus 2018's model of primary leadership skills suggests that there are 3 groups of skills that aid the leadership process. Number 1, administrative skills were acquired within both groups. Each team member was responsible for managing resources such as images, footage and documenting minute meetings. The project also required careful planning and organising in order to meet the deadline and build upon efficiency skills of meeting internal progression goals. Number 2, interpersonal skill development was reflected equally but differently between the two groups. For example, our theme change and client feedback within the Jossey-Bass team required social perception skills in order to understand member reactions and guide them through the change, whereas emotional intelligence was needed within the Collier group. It was crucial that I and my other team members manage our emotions in order to facilitate rational thinking. Big decisions had to be made in order to establish what was practical and most efficient for the group. Number 3, conceptual skills, on the other hand, were present within both. Visions were necessary to implement strategic plans, and without would have been difficult to progress. Problem solving, as aforementioned, was also a focus skill to build. After feedback from clients and split within the group, corrective action had to be taken. Nordhaus 2018 builds upon the process of problem solving, and adoption of the 4 stages aided the revival of our group spirit and production of videos. These 4 steps included identifying the issue, generating alternative situations, establishing the best solution, and implementation. Overall, it is evident that the leadership skills developed throughout these projects will benefit me when dealing with group issues in the future within working environments and beyond. Virality. Nahon and Hensley 2013 argue that a determinant of whether people pay attention to information or not depends on how the information has been conveyed, taking into account its embedded structure and context. As such, the way we detailed our Jossey-Bass video aimed to provide structure and chronological suitability to the reader. Our video followed a sequential timeline that used practical software skills and creative writing skills to animate. Such demonstrations given throughout the module prepared us for the use of Adobe After Effects, which we utilised throughout the video. The script was articulated to provide supportive and historical context to the animation to evoke emotion, as Berger's 2013 Steps framework suggests. Elements of story and emotion can provide engagement. To further engage the viewers, we included a celebrity endorsement to cover our voiceover. As pointed out by Katri 2006, celebrity endorsements can provide higher production values. Utilising Catri's 2006 matchup hypothesis, it seems that our celebrity endorser Roger Phillips, who is a radio presenter at BBC Radio Merseyside, will have increased our production values and accreditation. It is known therefore that the source credibility will help promote our video and support its shareability. It seemed appropriate to tie in a theme of nostalgia and history into the video. An article from Adweek suggests that the viral video needs to make the viewer feel something such as admiration. Knowing that our target audience was of the older generation and those who will have witnessed the Scotland Road community, it seemed relevant to apply the history into the video. As the article presumed, Generation X, people over the age of 40, are more likely to respond to nostalgia and in our case, share the video. To this end, the video encompassed calls to action, encouraging potential volunteers to get involved and for viewers to follow and engage with their social media platforms. The nature of these calls to action were different from that of Collier. They sought to achieve help and support in their quest to continue the paper and support its digitalised progression. Whereas Collier's call to action were purely commercial, encouraging viewers to download their app and follow their social sites. Our Collier video followed a story narrative that demonstrated the easy use and purchasing of products in local independent businesses using the Collier app. Berger 2013 states that encompassing a story increases the likelihood of engagement, hence our determination to follow a chronologically styled narrative. Initially, our idea facilitated a split screen, however after much complication we decided against the idea. We kept the concept but adopted a theme used by real-life viral video producers such as Lad Bible and the Daily Mail, to have half the screen showing footage and the other to present what was being said. It seems that this layout works for the big publishers and so hope for the same style would encourage viewers the same. Like suggested by an Adweek article, we kept our video short and sweet. A study with evidence stated that 19% of video watchers turned off after 10 seconds if they weren't interested, and that a further 44% turned off after 1 minute. Hence our choice to keep the video short. In order to evaluate the successful use and implementation of such theories and calls to action, an analytical assessment of the 2 videos needs to be drawn out. When comparing my 2 group videos, I will reflect upon the YouTube analytics of each, using the statistics up to the date 16th of May. As noted by Nahon and Hensley 2013, the process of tracking a video as it travels through a network and into a media event is what's known as a viral lifecycle. Upon initial consideration of the analytics, it would have been thought that the Jossey-Bass video was the most reflective of the viral lifecycle. The Jossey-Bass video achieved 188 views, 9 comments, 23 likes and 11 shares, receiving the highest view count engagement of the two videos. However, most fitting to what Nahon and Hensley 2013 describe was the Call You video. This video achieved 110 views, 2 comments, 10 likes and 3 shares. Compared to the Jossey-Bass video, which had a steadier incline and gradual decay, the Call You video has little incline time and a steeper decaying phase. It is noted within Crane and Sornette's 2008 work that their effectiveness of view rates depends on how social the process was at driving watchers. In light of their work, it can be indicated that the Call You video was less originally socially driven in comparison to the Jossey-Bass video, which demonstrates higher social traits. The next section will revise the social media plans adopted for this video in order to evaluate their effectiveness in socially driving views. Social media. Reflecting upon the success of my Media Geek and Media Society video last semester, I decided to adopt the same promotional approach to encourage the same level of success with regards to engagement. Talking to my team members, it was discussed and implemented that we should promote our videos before their finished production, in the same way. 2 different social media plans were discussed, planned, and then made accessible for everyone. It can be assumed that the pre-promotional social media posts built up hype and curiosity for the videos, which could be representative of the high viewing rate once our videos were published on YouTube. For Call You, our social media plan focused on utilising the social platform hashtag and geotagging facilities. We could actively target tweeters interested in Liverpool or within the area and could easily promote through Instagram in the different locations used within our video. As a result, we achieved, on average, around 260 impressions and 3 likes per tweet, 2 comments and 2 shares and 5 likes per Facebook post, and 469 views on our Instagram stories. In contrast, the Jossey-Bass promotional work attracted more viewership and social engagement. We achieved, on average, 4 influencer side promotions, 3 favourites and 1,003 impressions per tweet, 2 shares, 3 comments and 3 likes per Facebook post, and 497 views per Instagram story. This included retweets from departmental influencers, the clients themselves and other students. Similarly, our use of tagging and promoting the support of Roger Phillips as the voiceover supported our promotional success. This social media plan began 5 weeks before production had even been completed. All team members promoted similar content to keep the overall intention and message consistent. We'd hoped this would provide a professional feel and adhere to the real-life expectations. Completing these projects again, I would have argued that uploading the videos directly to Facebook would have aided the virality of them. It has been noted that native videos on Facebook have 10 times higher reach than YouTube links, which can be argued due to the ease with which users can watch Facebook videos in contrast with the cross-formatting of opening up a YouTube link. To conclude, this viral video module has delivered experience of teamwork, leadership, viral media knowledge and social promotions, and active learning styles and benefits. On the whole, this experience has been contrasting and eye-opening to viral media life in its true working form and given students real experience of working with clients. Importantly, the process has developed my emotional and critical skills in order to drive professionalism and determination. The essay, therefore, has concluded my overall experience and reflective opinions in order to determine the success and virality of my group project videos. It can be seen that they echo the nature of a viral video and with more time could mirror further, through promotion and the increased engagement, the form of a viral video.